Do you want me to do the weird intro thing again? Hello, it's me, Ruby, and this is my first time making coconut and lime cupcakes. Hi, it's me, Ruby, and this is my first time making coconut and lime cupcakes. Do you want me to do it again? I can do it again. So the first thing I'm gonna do is zest some goddamn limes. The first step to a lot of things. And this says the zest of 1 large lime, so I'm going to use the zest of 4 key limes, because in my head that mathematically makes sense. The smaller limes are more tender. It's easier to hit the pith, and I'm worried about it slipping out of my hands because it's so tiny. It has these don't have butts the same way, the same way big limes do. They've got little tiny butts. Little tiny butts. There you go, Skycam. I almost always use more lime than you're supposed to. Same with garlic. Those kind of things. I use more than recipes call for almost always because, I don't know, people smoke cigarettes and can't taste things, and especially because I sell things through a coffee shop, they're also drinking a coffee, so I'm competing with coffee and I want the flavor to come through past the coffee. So I always use extra. Traditionally, the conversion of 1 large lime is the zest of 2 key limes. Little baker's fact. We'll see how it ends up tasting, right? This is not my stand mixer. I do not own a stand mixer. I would like to own a stand mixer. This is my mama's stand mixer. Thank you, Mom, for the stand mixer that I've had in my possession for like at least a month now because I use it. And she acts like she doesn't need it out of politeness, which is cool. I'm scared of getting finger in the cupcakes. These are not finger cupcakes. Oh my God, that's all the limes. We did it. This is gonna be a bad sound. Okay, and now we're gonna rub the sugar with the lime zest, which will just help macerate that zest. Oh wow, I've never rubbed the sugar with the lime zest before, but it was a recommendation from this recipe, and it is very fragrant. It's actually almost concerningly fragrant. Oh, and I get to stop. It says to stop doing that when it's fragrant. That's awesome. Achieved. Oh no, it's almost an ASMR channel, right? Listen to the sugar in the bowl. There you go. That's not locked on there. Ha, nope. I promise I've done this before. Okay. I got it. There. No.
I think it goes the other way.
Stop telling me how to do my job. You're right, it goes the other way. You were correct. I don't normally approach this from the back. This is no texture, no lift. Your butter is not incorporated. Don't stop here. Keep going. It's gonna feel like a ridiculous amount of time. That can just do that. It doesn't need me. Look at this. Sugar on my nose. Trick. So this still isn't there yet. You can still see granules. And that's gonna be fucking gritty sand cakes. Seriously though, it's an ASMR channel now. We're on the next page of the recipe, which is exciting. This is where I'm glad that we have technology and I don't have to do this by hand. Oh my goodness, okay. I'm watching a show on Netflix. I'm watching Bridgerton. It's about fancy people who live in a big fancy castle and eat fancy foods. But it started me into this hole on YouTube where I've started watching like old, not colonial, what is it, like pre-colonial, Victorian, Elizabethan and Victorian era recipes for the fancy royal people. And I can't even imagine how hard it would be to make this cake anytime but now. Like seriously, butter? Who knew butter was so hard? Butter's hard to get. You couldn't. I mean, way back then you could not expect things to come fast because you had to like find somebody who would let you milk their cow, or you had to have a cow, which seems expensive even these days. I never clean my whisk like this and I'm just doing it for TV. Let me stop and I'll show y'all how I actually do it. It's a cheat. Oh my God, looks so easy. So much easier. I like to add the eggs one at a time because it gives even more chance for the butter to incorporate fluff and air. We want a nice, fluffy, airy cupcake. Look at how fluffy it is. Look at how fluffy it is. Look at how fluffy it is. I'm giving you the whole angle, the whole movement. Okay, we got one more egg. Ooh, left-handed, one-handed crack. This is what that should look like. So it is not granular, it's smooth. I'm just gonna check underneath it. A lot of the times, things get stuck in the very bottom of the bowl. Do you want me to look this way this time? Okay, this hand. I won't. Do you want me to look at another camera though? Okay, this is the inside of this bowl. Does this physically make sense? Look at it. It's so fluffy. Secretly, I became a baker because I like to eat raw batter and dough almost more than the thing that's baked itself. And if you're not the one making it, you don't get to eat the raw batter and dough. This is also the tastiest step. It's just sugar, butter, and raw egg, which brings like a spice. I don't know if you've ever eaten raw egg, but it's got like a tang to it. It's a good tang. I'm not gonna taste it right now though, because we've talked about it too much and now it feels weird. Okay. Time to roll the limes. Look at that, that's 3 limes at once. Efficiency, speed, accuracy, knife. Nice to meet you. Look at that. You like my finger hat? Yeah, was that good? Do you like that? Yeah. I gotcha. Vanilla. It's the best part. You can't get drunk off vanilla extract. It doesn't work. It will never work. Mainly because they don't want you to get drunk off vanilla extract, so they put shit in it so you can't. I was a biology major in college, and I had a very interesting organic chemistry lab professor, and he used to tell us about how he would try to get drunk off of isopropyl alcohol, which, I guess is functionally possible, but in these days, they add things to the alcohol in labs so that you can't get drunk off of it, and instead it makes you really, really sick, which feels a little rude and probably makes it more expensive. Just saying. Big bowl. Good. Why? I can tell you why I sift. There's not much of a point to sifting flour these days. I'm not gonna lie to you about it. Back in the day, they would sift so they could volumetrically measure, which is where you scoop and level more effectively. But I normally bake by weight. Today I'm not. These are all measured out volumetrically. I sift to get a more tender crumb in the cupcake. Also, I'm gonna sift the baking soda and baking powder as well, because a lot of the times they can get chunks, hard rocks in them. You cannot distribute a chunk of baking soda. It will just be a chunk, and then someone will bite into your cupcake and find a chunk of baking soda and think that you make awful tasting stuff because, surprise, baking soda tastes bad. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but I'll be the first to tell you. Hot take, baking soda tastes bad. Also, back in the day, we used to sift flour because things like to live in flour, or they like to try to live in flour and then fail, and then you want to pull them out before you bake with them because it's a crunchy surprise, and I'm talking about bugs. Okay, this has vanilla on it. It's wet. I'm gonna wipe it off. Where's my rag? And corner of the apron, activate. Do you have any salt? Is it already out here? We've talked about this. I'm sorry, I'm just blind. Look, here's the salt that I saw immediately and had no trouble finding. I love Clabber Girl because they have this wipe off lift. Oh, so easy.
Do you consider yourself a Clabber Girl?
I'm gonna tell you, I'm concerned about the definition of clabber before I just like commit to being that. She looks like she's having a great time. I don't know if you've seen her. She's got some biscuits and what looks like a family of 7 in the background. So she's probably having the time of her life, right? Who doesn't want 7 people in your family? That's a lot of people. Okay, for everybody to get 2 biscuits, you'd have to make more than a dozen biscuits, right? So you'd have to at least double the recipe. It's wild. My mom was married for a long time to her now her ex-wife, my now ex-stepmom. Wild times. My ex-stepmom's mother, my grandma, we call her Miss Stella, She makes biscuits and it's wild because she'll make the amount based on who's there, and she can just like feel it and eyeball it and like make the correct amount of biscuits without any measuring tools. And if you ask her to teach you how to make it, she'll be like, well, you just like take this much so it looks like this. And it's just terribly unhelpful. Like, I love and adore her, but she can't teach you how to do it because she does it with her hands. Okay, I'm gonna make buttermilk. This is half a cup of coconut milk and half a cup of buttermilk. But right now it's not buttermilk, it's just milk, and we're gonna make it buttermilk. And we're gonna make it buttermilk by adding acid, which sounds gross, but is important. Baking soda is basic, baking powder is basic. The acid from the vinegar is actually gonna be what gives our like cupcakes the lift and the rise, along with having the butter whipped, which is why we put so much time into that. This is our little cheat. So I'm going to use half a tablespoon of white vinegar, and I'm not actually gonna measure it over the milk because if I get too much in there, it's gonna be gross. So, oh wow, look at that, I spilled a whole lot. What a surprise. Thank goodness I put it over a bowl. This recipe called for buttermilk. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Buttermilk, it is pretty cheap, but what are you gonna do with like the leftover of half a cup of buttermilk? I only need half a cup. It's gonna sit in your fridge, it's gonna turn into cheese, you're gonna have to dump it out and rinse it because you're a responsible human who recycles their packaging, and then you're gonna have to smell your buttermilk cheese. Don't do that.
Clabber is milk that has naturally clotted on sour.
Clabber girl, I believe in this. This is natural. I agree with this now. Yes, there's flour on me. It's okay, it's my job. Don't put your mixer on high or you'll get a cloud of flour. Oh my goodness, we're about to have cupcake batter instead of just separate ingredients, which I will definitely taste. Ooh, I just hate that puff when you mix it too fast. Oh no, splash zone. Today I met a dog named Spanky, and Spanky is 16, and Spanky has, he's losing his brain slowly, which sucks. I'm sorry, Spanky, you're old, it happens, but now he just spins in a circle. He spun in the circle the entire time we were hanging out. It was a great time. Stand mixer's dedicated to Spanky. Here you go, Spanks. I know, poor Spanky, man. It's okay. The question is a life where you spin in a circle all day really worth living? And the answer is yes, because Spanky's still having a pretty good time. He seemed happy. His tail was wagging. Waiting on him. Bet you're gonna wonder where that noise came from. The sound is refreshing. Okay, everybody has favorite sounds, right? Yeah, okay. Can opening, right? Let's also talk about another one. The sound of like a belt coming undone. Excellent sound. It is. Don't judge me on this. It's serious and it's associated with a certain activity, and I'm sure you can guess what that is. It's a good time. Yeah, openings, stop it. I was hooking up with this guy who I shouldn't have been hooking up with it because he was kind of my manager at one of my jobs, but he hadn't been completely hired to manager yet, so he was still kind of a waiter and not really a manager. This kind of feels like subtweeting, but it's okay because I don't feel bad about it because I talked about it with him in person too. And I told him about the belt thing. I was like, man, I love that sound. It's such a good sound. And he would just start doing it all the time. No, it's Pavlov, you know? You're being trained. And if the thing doesn't happen after the sound, why would I get excited about the sound? So you can't just do it all the time. Duh. I'm sorry to subtweet you like that, fellow maybe coworker at some point in my life, but obviously not currently. One last scrape, so exciting. And then we're gonna add the cocoa nut. And I'm gonna add half toasted, half untoasted, because I like the way the toasted tastes better, but I like the texture of the untoasted. And I'm just gonna use my hand like that. Wow, accuracy. It's okay, it's just texture. Danger, danger, it's okay. Danger, okay. It's beautiful, it's fluffy, it's got texture, it looks like melted ice cream, which is what I think that batter should look like when it's ready. I'm gonna taste it. I'm worried about it. Oh my God. I like this weird spoon. I know it's a lot. It's not salty, it's very good. I like it better. This is why I do this. I'm just gonna enjoy it. And pretend y'all aren't here. It's great.
You don't need it salty.
Mm-mm.
Are you done with this?
Mm-hmm. It's good. Did you have some? It's gonna be good. All right, ready? Do I have some on me? Cool. Fix. I'll get it again. I have a rag. That's what the corner of the apron's for. Did I get it?
Yeah.
Did I get it? Did I get it? Yeah, it is this apron's first time. This apron is from my mom. All of these aprons right now are from my mama. Thank you, mama. If you don't have an ice cream scoop, which you probably don't, because I don't have one like this at my house, because why would I pay for this? You can use a 1/4 cup or a 1/3 of a cup measuring spoon and a tiny spatula. Easy peasy. You want to tamp it down without shaking it. Sorry, it's loud. It's what you do. This one needs a little more. He's shy. I'm gonna have to fight for this last cupcake. Oh my God, it's perfect. It's beautiful. It's exactly 24 cupcakes as promised. And now we wait, right? This is patience again. Time for dishes. Hello, and this is Ruby's first time making lime coconut buttercream frosting. I needed to hold these for that segment. It's important. Limes. Okay, I'm going. Slice and dice. I'm gonna get 4 tablespoons of juice from these little boys. Got it. Popped. Juiced. Squish. Cicero. Got it. Man, give me your juice. Into the mixer go the fats to be whipped. The coconut cream just looks less and less appetizing the longer I think about it. I didn't know this, but currently there's a cut on my finger and there's lime juice in it.
And the vanilla.
And the vanilla extract. Oh, in here? Now? I disagree. Smack. The powdered sugar gets sifted because powdered sugar has cornstarch in it, and cornstarch picks up a lot of water. That water will create lumps within the powdered sugar, which is the point of the cornstarch, is to keep the sugar from getting wet. But then you get a nice, beautiful, lumpy buttercream, which is everybody's favorite texture. I wanted to avoid that today, so I sifted my powdered sugar. Beautiful. Too fast, sorry. If I were in my own kitchen, I'll show you what I do. And it's this. I'm sorry, it's gonna ruin your shot a little bit. You take this and you cover the part of the mixer that you're not putting anything in, and that way it catches all the powdered sugar underneath the towel. Yeah, boy. Okay. I'm gonna do 2 cups. 1 cup felt a little cautious. Hot dog. Okay. Next addition. That was wet. Sorry. So sloshy. She's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's just thick. That sounds done. Oh my God, it's icing! Rad. Into it, love it, gorgeous, velvety, beautiful. Also less icing. Now you're gonna lock the bowl on before you begin mixing, even though you're feeling very confident. Other way. Righty-tighty. Give it a spin. It's gritty, which means it needs mixed longer. That's okay, we're gonna have to mix it anyway. I also think it needs lime zest, because it doesn't taste like lime. It tastes like coconut. That's a wild noise. What are you doing? Emergency call. Fixed. We're not gonna add the lime zest because it's not part of the recipe. I'm worried about it oxidizing, which is probably why it got left out. Now, I want this to be a pastel, so I'm not gonna add a lot of food coloring. I'm also gonna get this towel out of there. It's a mess. I want it to be pink, but it's going to be green, so people know that they are lime and coconut cupcakes. That's a good color. With food coloring, you're trying to make sure that all of the streaks are gone and it's one continuous color, because food coloring tastes bad, and if you can see a thing of food coloring, you're gonna taste the food coloring and somebody's gonna think you can't make icing. I'm gonna leave that attached because I'm gonna lick it later. 100%, 100%. All right, filling a piping bag is super obnoxious. Beautiful. Oh. This is gonna be messy. Oh, no. And this is where the magic of gravity and shaking happens. Isn't that great? Beautiful, amazing. Ruby, how'd you do it? I don't know. I'm gonna do a quick practice pipe to make sure that the icing is all the way to the tip and it looks nice. And you could do it on the side of a bowl, no problem. Let's ice a cupcake. I like to start from the outside and try to keep that swirl. So you're gonna hold your tip perpendicular to the cupcake the entire time. And then you'll get to the end. And that's it, pretty easy. You can top it with coconut. We have some sprinkles, whatever you want to make it look nice. No problem at all. Coconut Bay. Every time we sprinkle. Yeah, amazing.
Can you get everything?
Oh yeah, for sure. I just have to get more. Yeah. That's what he does, right? He like shakes his hand really hard. Okay, cool. That's it. There's a cupcake.
Okay, I don't know.
It has a cupcake wrapper on it that will probably have to come off.
Okay, we can do this. It's got a little mushroom head to it. I like that. So, but it does make it hard to peel. I'm making a lot of crumbs. This isn't photo worthy anymore. There we have it. A naked cupcake. I undressed it. Pretty good at that. We're gonna do this.
I'm scared.
We're gonna slice it in half. I'm not scared. Oh, baby. Look at that ooey gooey. That ooey gooey, yummy, yummy. Okay. So, well, Ruby's coming in because she's gotta go to the prom in a little bit. But now, I don't have a sweet tooth.
Okay, good.
I hope this. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. It's very subtle.
Mm-hmm. I expected more from the curd.
I also. We're good.
Oh, cool.
I also expected a little bit. Let's just have some of the curd.
By itself.
It's got a good zest.
Mm-hmm. It needs more in it.
It needs more. It needs.
More.
Yeah, both in. And this.
Tastes like coconut.
It tastes. I don't know that I'm a fan of the coconut in there.
In the icing? Or in the cupcake itself?
In the icing as much.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Well, it does taste. Okay, so it's kind of like a pina colada.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like that.
No pineapple. At all.
I'm going to be honest with you. Never had a pina colada.
Okay, cool.
But I do like that the cupcake itself is not that sweet.
Yes, to balance with the frosting.
There's a lot of frosting.
There's so much frosting. It was for visuals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give that bad boy a 7.
I'm going to go higher.
Okay, why?
It's not super moist.
No, but the curd.
It helps. And I think as it sits, it'll probably help.
Yes, the older it gets, the better it will be, as with most things.
Always.
They needed to be baked for less time. I would like them to have more coconut in them, and I think that they could have a higher lift, which for me would mean adding more baking powder before adding more baking soda. I couldn't taste any powder or soda in it, which means that all of it had been activated.
I would definitely pay for it.
Definitely pay for it! Yay! Approved. Do you need more from us? You just like... And that was my first time making coconut cupcakes.
And that was my first time eating Ruby's cupcakes.